of them fell upon the flat of her back and balanced dangling uneasily over her breast. Juan and Maria, who were actually getting married in the church instead of behind it, which was usual custom, less expensive and as binding as any other ceremony, but Maria was always as proud as if she owned a hacienda. Why do you take Maria to be your wife?
Sí.
Maria, do you take Juan to be your husband? She wished to sit down quietly and wait for her death, but not until she had cut the throats of her man and that girl who were laughing and kissing. Now here was the worst thing, but she knew her enemy, Maria Rosa, that sinful girl, shameless. She heard herself say a harsh, true word about Maria Rosa, saying it out loud as if she expected someone to agree with her.
You're a whore.
Maria Concepcion, that's nothing. Look, my chief, to be married in the church is a great misfortune for a man. After that, he is not himself anymore. How can that woman complain when I do not drink, even at fiestas? I do not beat her, never. We were always at peace. I say to her, come here, and she comes straight. I say, go there, and she goes quickly. Yet sometimes I looked at her and thought, now I am married to a woman in the church, and I felt a sinking inside as if something were lying heavy on my stomach. With Maria Rosa, it's all different. She is not silent, she talks. And when she talks too much, I slap her and say, silence. Juan walked out of the rather stifling atmosphere of the drumhead court, a definite air of swagger about him. His hat of unreasonable dimensions and embroidered with silver thread hung over one eyebrow, secured at the back by a cord of silver dripping with bright blue tassels. His shirt was of checkerboard pattern in green and black. His white cotton trousers were bound by a belt of yellow leather tooled in red. His feet were bare, full of stone bruises, and sadly ragged as to toenails. He removed his cigarette from the corner of his full-lipped, wide mouth. He removed the splendid hat. His black, dusty hair pressed moistly to his forehead sprang up suddenly in cloudy thatch to his crown. Knowing all the events of that unhappy days, was not in a yielding mood and refused to be beaten. She did not scream nor implore. She stood her ground and resisted. She even struck at him. Juan, amazed, hardly knowing what he did, stepped back and gazed at her through a leisurely whirling film which seemed to have lodged behind his eyes. Certainly he had not even thought of touching her. Oh well, no harm done. He gave up, turned away, half asleep on his feet. He dropped amiably in a shadowed corner and began to snore. At once she came to her senses completely, recognized the thing that troubled her so terribly, was certain of what she wanted. She sat down quietly under a sheltering thorny bush and gave herself over to her long devouring sorrow. The thing which had for so long squeezed her whole body into a tight, numb knot of suffering suddenly broke with shocking violence. She jerked with involuntary recoil of one who receives a blow, and sweat poured from her skin as if the wounds of her whole life were shredding their salt. Drawing her rebozo over her head, she bowed her forehead upon her knees and sat there in deadly silence and immobility. For For a second he could not move nor speak. Then he took her head between both of his hands and supported her in this way, saying swiftly, anxiously, reassuring, almost in a babble, "Oh, thou poor creature! Oh, mad woman! Oh, my Maria Concepcion! Unfortunate! Listen! Don't be afraid! Listen to me! I will hide thee away. Thy old man will protect thee. Quiet, not a sound." "Pardon, brother," said the leader. "Someone has killed the woman, Maria Rosa, and we must question her neighbors and friends." He paused and added with an attempt at severity, "Naturally, agreed Dubois. You know that I was a good friend of Maria Rosa. This is bad news." They all went away together, the men walking in a group, Maria Concepcion following a few steps in the rear near Juan. No one spoke. Old Lupe's crackling voice arose. She had spent the morning helping Maria Rosa, and it had been hard work. The child had spat blood the moment it was born, a bad sign.
3. Why?
The gentlemen were at a loss. They too felt that the sheltering wall cast impenetrably around her. They were certain she had done it, and yet they could not accuse her. Nobody could be accused. There was not a shred of true evidence. Maria Concepcion, carrying the child, followed Juan from the clearing.
Maria Concepcion.
Juan, do you take Maria to be your wife?
See?